And good morning. We have made it to Friday, the 20th of October. I'm Ray Collins.
And I'm Stephanie Roberts. Happy Friday, everybody. We are on the realm of a good weekend, it looks like, as well. Some cool temperatures this morning, but meteorologist Steve Newman is in with us to tell us that changes are on the way. I hear no cool down quite yet.
Well, by this time next week, you're going to have lows in the 50s, Stephanie. I think you're going to notice the change. It's our real first honest-to-goodness cool front, but it's not here for a week. So it looked pretty nice over the weekend. Right now, severe clear over the Sunshine State and the Gulf of Mexico. We do have nothing on radar as well. A few showers around south of Fort Pierce, Jupiter, West Palm, and our future radar through the rest of today shows that winds will be offshore and increasing. But those little green specks are just overblown models trying to create something out of nothing. It's going to be dry all day today, and nice and mild temperatures in the mid-80s, maybe 87, 88 for our afternoon high temperatures. We'll have a complete look at the weather and our tropical weather outlook as we're on the downside of the tropical hurricane season coming up in a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Steve. Let's check first alert traffic now. An ongoing issue out there on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard at Tech Parkway, I think we called it last time. There it is, Technology Terrace, rather. So be aware of that. That's between 64 and 70. Otherwise, the usual buildups on 301. Checking into Sarasota now. Bayfront congested along the southbound lane of 41. Also Bee Ridge near the interstate as you head toward Cattleman. And our South County map showing some buildup there on 681 as you get on the northbound lane of 75. Otherwise, pretty clear at 6:02 on your Friday morning.
Our top story this hour, 4 days after the president was first asked about the deaths of the soldiers in Niger, that question has turned into a political hit on his predecessors, creating a firestorm even and igniting intrigue into how the White House years back handles these calls.
And now the president's chief of staff is talking about the loss of his own son in Afghanistan and how he advised President Trump to handle these calls. Serena Marshall has our story.
It was an emotional defense of the president, not from Chief of Staff John Kelly, but Gold Star father and retired General John Kelly.
There's no perfect way to make that phone call. My first recommendation was he not do it.
Kelly lost his own son when he stepped on a landmine in Afghanistan in 2010, something he doesn't talk about often, but addressing an unusually silent press corps.
In my son's case in Afghanistan, when he died, he was surrounded by the best men on this earth, his friends. That's what the president tried to say to four families.
Kelly frustrated and brokenhearted over the politicalization.
It stuns me that a member of Congress would have listened in on that conversation.
It's the president's words versus intention. Kelly not disputing that the president told the widow of Sergeant LaDavid Johnson he knew what he was signing up for, but it still hurts. Even echoing those same words in his defense.
He knew what he was getting himself into because he enlisted. There's no reason to enlist. He enlisted.
The president, though, just hours later, hitting Congresswoman Frederica Wilson on Twitter for being on the call secretly and gave a total lie on content. What the president and Kelly didn't address, Wilson's relationship with the family that goes back decades, according to the Washington Post, and Sergeant Johnson's mother, who told the paper, President Trump did disrespect my son and my daughter, and also me and my husband. Wilson now saying she's done talking about it.
Seemingly lost in the uproar, the 4 soldiers who died in Niger, including Sergeant LaDavid Johnson. His funeral scheduled for Saturday. Serena Marshall, ABC News, Washington.
1 month after Hurricane Maria, President Trump says the situation there was worse than Katrina. That comment comes as he explained why he was rating his administration's response to the recent hurricane a 10 on a scale of 10. The president made the comments during a meeting with Puerto Rico's governor.
It was probably the most difficult when you talk about relief, when you talk about search, when you talk about all of the different levels. And even when you talk about lives saved, you look at the number. I mean, this was, I think it was worse than Katrina. It was, in many ways, worse than anything people have ever seen.
The president previously compared the situation in Puerto Rico to the aftermath of Katrina during his visit to the island earlier this month, suggesting that Hurricane Maria wasn't a real catastrophe like the Katrina in terms of the number of casualties. Trump appeared to flip the comparison yesterday, suggesting that the devastation was worse than New Orleans during Katrina, but saying the federal response was far more competent.
In consumer news, new figures show the American job market is looking stronger than expected. The federal government says only 222,000 Americans filed first-time jobless claims last week. That is the lowest number recorded in over 43 years. Experts say the news is another sign of a healthy U.S. economy. Unemployment is already at a 16-year low of 4.2%, with Florida's coming in even lower. But the economy did lose 33,000 jobs in September, which experts blame on the 3 hurricanes that affected portions of the U.S. Target is finally coming to the state of Vermont. The retail store says it will open its first store in South Burlington. The 60,000-foot store will be smaller than their traditional big box setup. It will employ 75 workers and have inventory specialized to that neighborhood. Target will now have a location in every U.S. state once it is finished, Vermont being the 50th. The store is set to open in 2018.
New developments now in that deadly workplace shooting in Maryland earlier this week. Radee Prince is being held at a Delaware prison with a $2 million bond after that 10-hour manhunt. Prince was set to work at Advanced Granite Solutions when he's believed to have gathered his co-workers and opened fire. He's accused of killing 3 co-workers and leaving 2 others in critical condition at the office outside of Baltimore.
How do you get into a mind of a person that's capable of shooting 5 people that are co-workers? And I even get chills talking about it because I know what it's like when we do hunt individuals that are desperate.
About 2 hours later and 50 miles away, another shooting tied to Prince, this time at a car dealership in Wilmington. The victim, a man Prince allegedly knew and had a dispute with previously. Police put his name and face on billboards up and down I-95, his face at least. That helped bring in tips that led investigators to Newark, Delaware, where Prince was spotted. Still no word on when he'll make his first appearance in court.
Closer to home, a child pornography investigation leads Pinellas County deputies to a cache of guns and explosives inside a Dunedin home. Deputies found 3 explosive devices, 10 rifles, 8 handguns, 2 shotguns, more than 15 knives, and a lot of ammunition. Deputies also found aerial photos of a water treatment plant, an elementary school, and a middle school, all in Hillsborough County, as well as notes on how to make explosive devices. 24-year-old Randall Drake was arrested and charged with 2 counts of unlawfully making, possessing, or attempting to make a destructive device. Detectives attempted to interview him, but he has refused to speak. Drake has no prior criminal history or history of mental health issues. He is out on bail this morning.
2 suspects behind bars after being arrested during protests in Gainesville yesterday against white nationalist Richard Spencer. Spencer spoke on campus but left the stage early after protesters continued to drown him out. David Noddy arrested for resisting an officer without violence, and Sean Bridgmohan was arrested for carrying a firearm on school property. Last August, UF originally declined Spencer's request to speak due to threats of violence, but then later allowed the event, stressing the school's commitment to free speech.
Florida Democratic lawmakers are taking aim at memorials and holidays linked to Confederate leaders. House and Senate Democrats have filed bills that would remove the birthdays of General Robert E. Lee and Jefferson Davis from the legal holidays listed in Florida law. It would also remove Confederate Memorial Day from the list. Representative Shervin Jones filed a bill earlier this month that would require the state to move any Confederate memorials on state property to the State Museum. The legislation will be considered during the 2018 session that begins in January.
Also in Tallahassee, an appeals court denied a major challenge to the governor's emergency generator rule. That rule requires every nursing home and assisted living facility in Florida to have a working generator and 96 hours of fuel to keep patients safe during disasters. That action was taken by Governor Scott after the tragedy at the rehab center in Hollywood Hills, where nearly a dozen patients died. Associations representing nursing homes and assisted living facilities filed appeals claiming that there was no immediate danger or emergency justifying this new rule, and those arguments were rejected yesterday.
Governor Scott still has more than a year remaining on his term, but there are already questions being raised about how travel will be handled for his successor. Scott fulfilled a campaign promise in 2011 when he accepted bids totaling more than $3 million to sell what had been the state's 2 airplanes, which had shuttled governors from event to event. So Scott has paid out of his own pocket since then. He uses his own private jet for travel. He was asked earlier this week how the next governor will fly across Florida, but he's deflected the question.
My goal is the next governor is going to focus on how they can get more jobs in the state. It's still, even though we've done well, we're over 1.4 million jobs, it's still the #1 issue you can do for a family besides their education and keeping them safe.
When pressed on the question of whether he would approve a budget in 2018 to include the millions of dollars needed to buy a new state airplane, Scott responded by saying he'll review any budget sent his way by the legislature.
Caught on camera, a scary situation in Lakeland where police say an officer was hit by a drunk driver during a traffic stop with another drunk driving suspect. Officer Corey Suttle on patrol Sunday morning when he saw a car making an illegal right turn at a light. I'm trying to watch the video as well here. A pickup truck drove by and the side mirror struck his elbow. Just a few more inches, he could have been seriously injured, if not killed. Suttle quickly got back in his patrol car and pulled that truck over as well. Some quick work there. Dangerous out there on the road.
Absolutely, and just another reason to thank our first responders and law enforcement for putting their lives on the line to keep us safe every day.
Exactly right. So
this is a treat. I have never had a chance to work behind the anchor desk with you.
No, it's great to be here with you.
It's great, and we have some good weather news to talk about too.
Even better?
Yes, a little breezy, but today and tomorrow are going to be near perfect days to get outside, but we do have some big changes coming in our weather, especially by this time next week.
All right, thanks for the warning. Also, first alert traffic on the way, and what fueled those devastating California wildfires?
We'll take a closer look at what fire experts are calling a possible fire-nado when we come back.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
There are many choices when it comes to AC companies. Our advice? Choose a company that performs employee background checks and is licensed with top manufacturers like Daikin. Daikin offers a 12-year parts and labor limited warranty. For better comfort and value, call Elite Heating and Air.
This is an important announcement. If you're between 50 and 85 and worried about your loved ones, you can still get affordable life insurance for peace of mind.
My life insurance coverage is guaranteed, and I was not required to get a medical exam.
I had high blood pressure and diabetes, and I got my coverage with one telephone call. No exam necessary.
I'm a smoker, and I wanted to take care of my family. I called to get my life insurance and my affairs in order. I wanted to do the right thing.
Call Final Expense No Exam Insurance. Your rates are guaranteed and will never increase.
I called and learned that this insurance cannot be canceled even if you get sick or gain weight.
And there are no restrictions on how my beneficiaries use the money when I'm gone.
Approval was easy and the price was right. I wanted to do this for my children.
Call 800-738-9812. 800-738-9812.
It's no small wonder anybody loves it all.
I just love art that moves me.
No small,
I mean really moves me.
One.
Sunset Fiat of Sarasota presents No Small Wonder. High performance style. Let the art of Fiat move you.
There are many choices when it comes to AC companies. Our advice? Choose a company that performs employee background checks and is licensed with top manufacturers like Daikin. Daikin offers a 12-year parts and labor limited warranty. For better comfort and value, call Elite Heating and Air.
The thought of my sons growing up without me inspired me to quit smoking.
I talked to my doctors, and then I threw away all my cigarettes, ashtrays, and lighters.
I started exercising instead of smoking.
Letting my friends online know I was quitting kept me on track.
Staying away from alcohol when I was first quitting was key.
I kept on trying, learned something each time.
Do whatever it takes.
No matter how many times it takes.
We did it. You can too.
For free help, visit cdc.gov/tips.
Get breaking news alerts focused on the Suncoast. Download the ABC 7 News app.
Good morning, Steve Newman in for John Scalzi this morning, and we have a case of severe clear across the Sunshine State. Look at those radar sweeps, not finding anything on land. Trying to get some showers between the Bahamas and like Jupiter, West Palm Beach, and some over the Florida Keys, but that's a sign of things to come today. It's going to remain dry. And by satellite, you can see the low-level flow coming in from the east and the subtropical jet blowing the high cirrus clouds aloft in the opposite direction almost. Currently at the airport, the temperature is a very nice 72. It's very pleasant out this morning with a dew point of 70. That's still a little moister than some of us like, but not bad to get out and do things today with humidity, at least at dawn, 93. Temperatures across the state in the 60s up in the Panhandle and far northern parts of Florida, 71 at Fort Myers, but about 80 degrees down in the southern cities, West Palm Beach, Miami, and Key West. Because our dew point is about 70, 72 degrees, temperatures are hovering very close to that right now over our viewing area. A little moisture out on the Keys, 75 at Longboat, Siesta Key, 74. Now, if we take a look at the tropics, the Atlantic, no problem whatsoever. The Caribbean, which is where we really keep an eye out during October on the downside of the hurricane season because storms can pop up and just rush up in our direction with very little warning. No suspect areas now, so I don't think we're going to have any problems there for the next several days at least. And the Gulf of Mexico, some scattered thunderstorms of the north central Gulf, but for us, dry. It is cooler in Atlanta, Georgia right now, 49, than it is at New York City, 58, Boston, 61, because of high pressure that has brought a pool of cool air down in the deep south. And it's that high pressure that is keeping things mild from coast to coast, really quiet, except where they need it in the west. Look at this dip in the jet stream, and a cold front finally brought rain to Northern California in the wine country where they've had those horrible firestorms. This is a game changer. Cooler air, higher humidities, and rain will really help them get a handle on that. And there's some mountain snow as well. And it's that cold front that will bring us cooler weather by this time next week. Here's our futurecast showing that high pressure bringing the cool air to Dixie and also increasing our northeast wind flow over Florida today. Partly sunny skies, not bad, but I think the breezes are going to pick up as we move through the day tonight and tomorrow, making a little rough out in the Gulf of Mexico, but I'm not seeing any showers until Sunday afternoon. Speaking of the Gulf of Mexico, look for winds, at least this morning and early afternoon, to be from the northeast at 15 knots. Seas 2 to 3 feet, but building to probably 4 feet, and moderate chop on bay and inland waters could get even rougher as we move through the weekend. Increasing winds today, beach temperature 86 and a UV index of 6. And here's my forecast for the rest of today. A partly sunny day, a breezy day, high temperature 88, 4 degrees warmer than normal. And here's our 7-day outlook showing the chance of rain does come back up on Sunday to 40%. And as the front approaches, the cold front approaches on Monday, increasing the chance to 50. The front comes through on Tuesday with a 60% chance of early rain. Look at our lows, guys. Over the weekend in the low 70s, the front comes by and the drier, cooler air settles in by this time next week with lows in the upper 50s. We're all going to like that, I think. Most of us anyway.
It's Friday and a good-looking weekend forecast. Thank you, Steve. First alert traffic right now is still showing an accident on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard, so just know that neighborhood traffic there may be a bit slower with the right lane block that's in between State Road 64 and State Road 70. Things looking good in the rest of Manatee County. No big slowdowns on 301 yet. I-75 accident and delay free through Manatee and Sarasota County, so it's a good time to get out the door, and we are not showing any problems in South County. It is 6:19, and experts say the deadly fires in Northern California could have been fueled by something called a firenado.
That's when wind combines with fire in a tornado-like vortex. Teresa Estacio has a closer look.
As fire investigators examine how this fire started, we are learning why it was so violent and vicious, devouring practically everything in its path.
At least minimum 60-mile-per-hour winds where this fire started. And I understand they increased to 70 and possibly 80 miles per hour to push this fire from Calistoga to Santa Rosa in a matter of hours. That's it.
A veteran CAL FIRE firefighter with several decades of wildfire experience, Scott McLean laid out the unique qualities of these deadly fires, explaining a lot had to do with the wicked winds and dry conditions feeding the flames, creating something called a fire whirl.
It's like an eddy. It's doing this thing, and you cannot predict which direction it's going to do or what it's really going to do as far as the fire itself. So it's extremely dangerous.
McLean said that the winds also tossed around explosive and deadly embers.
Out ahead of itself, not just one or two, but hundreds and thousands. Pushed by the wind, they would travel anywhere from a half mile to probably a mile. They would land in the grass or the brush, which was very receptive, and I'll guarantee you every last one of those started another fire. As those fires continued to grow out of front of the main body of the fire, they were actually growing larger and larger and drawing this main body of fire to them even faster. So you have the wind pushing, and now you have other fires out ahead. So it's like a leapfrog.
In Coffee Park, look at this. There are many cars flipped over, resting on their roofs. McLean says that as fire whirls whipped through this neighborhood, it consumed homes in a matter of minutes and pushed over cars that weighed thousands of pounds.
You cannot outrun it.
In some neighborhoods, like off of Fountain Grove Parkway, residents reported seeing walls of flames and that homes were burning like a giant blowtorch.
Man.
Just very scary. I mean, to have the winds whipping around anyway, the circular motion, the dry air. I mean, it's just all those factors coming together.
That word fire-nado is enough for me.
Yeah, exactly.
6:21 right now, still ahead. Class action lawsuits against Pepsi, Coke, Dr. Pepper. Why? False advertising?
We'll tell you why a new study shows that the sweetener aspartame may be to blame after this.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Is your old garage door stuck or broken? Would a new one give you a lift? Let Precision Door Overhead Garage Door Service of Sarasota come to the rescue with prompt and affordable repair service. Replacement doors come with an array of styles and colors, and they are rated to meet and exceed Florida standards. From estimates to installation, your satisfaction is our priority. If you're not 100% satisfied with any product, service, or installation, we will make it right, because Precision Door Service is a name you can trust.
Why settle for less? Get more for your money at Sunset Subaru in Sarasota. Subaru is the best overall brand for 2 years running and the most trusted brand for 3 years running, according to Kelly Blue Book's KBB.com. Right now, you can lease one of Subaru's most versatile vehicles, the Subaru Crosstrek, for as little as $199 a month, or get 2.9% financing with complimentary maintenance included. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-685-6422, 800-685-6422.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
This is the story of a boy who was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Hats off to the Boys and Girls Club of Sarasota County. I had a nice time last night with some of the 7,000 students The Boys and Girls Club help around the area. Bill Sadlow's the CEO next to me in the back row there, and the jacket as well. And great time last night. They're doing some great work helping kids who otherwise might fall into trouble.
Absolutely. Great to have a support group. Great to have people to hang out with. And great that you were able to get out there last night.
More pictures from last night's event at Ray Collins ABC 7. Also, we'll have our Facebook Friday Live at 8 o'clock this morning on the ABC 7 Facebook page.
Oh, do I have to do that with you?
Do you want to?
Sure. I'll be producing The View, but you could come sit next to me. I'll show you how it works.
It's very loose, very light. All right.
All right, it is 6:26, and there's a new class action lawsuit focusing on whether aspartame in diet soda is actually making diet soda drinkers gain weight.
As Paula Ferris tells us, the lawsuit claims the word diet is misleading.
In this morning's GMA First Look, diet soda under fire. Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and Dr. Pepper Snapple Group, the three largest U.S. makers of carbonated beverages, all facing proposed class action lawsuits alleging the marketing of their diet sodas is false, misleading, and unlawful to consumers, deceiving them into thinking the beverages will help them manage or even lose weight.
Products that are marketed as diet products should be helpful in helping people lose weight.
The suits also claim aspartame, the artificial sweetener used in the sodas, are likely to cause weight gain rather than to help in weight loss or healthy weight management. And coming up at 7 a.m., what the agencies representing the soda companies are saying, and Dr. Jennifer Ashton weighs in live with your GMA First Look. Candace Gibson, ABC News, New York.
I am totally blind. And Non-24 can make me show up too early or too late or make me feel like I'm not really there. Talk to your doctor and call 844-234-2424.
Hey, honey. How's practice?
Good.
Must have been hot out there today, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you go put that stuff in the laundry room right now?
Okay.
Do your athletes bring home big odors?
Oh.
Tide Sport is super concentrated to beat even the toughest stains and odors.
Hey, buddy.
Hey.
Ooh, somebody ran laps.
Yeah.
The new Tide Sport collection. It's gotta be Tide.
I try hard to get a great shape. This I can do easily. Benefiber Healthy Shape is a clear, taste-free, 100% natural daily fiber that's clinically proven to help me feel fuller longer. Benefiber Healthy Shape. This I can do.
There are many choices when it comes to AC companies. Our advice? Choose a company that performs employee background checks and is licensed with top manufacturers like Daikin. Daikin offers a 12-year parts and labor limited warranty. For better comfort and value, call Elite Heating and Air.
The kitchen is where life happens. Minnesota Flooring now offers a wide variety of beautiful quality craft-made cabinetry to make sure the heart of your home reflects your style. Visit us today at our new kitchen and bath cabinetry locations.
This is an important medical announcement. Talcum powder products from some of the best-known brands have been linked to ovarian cancer. Any woman who has used a talcum powder product and has been diagnosed with ovarian cancer may be entitled to substantial compensation. Studies show that women with long-term use of talcum powder, including baby powder for feminine hygiene, can increase the risk of contracting ovarian cancer. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential, there's no cost, and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to women who should have been warned about the risks of ovarian cancer with long-term use of talcum powder. Call the Talcum Powder Hotline. If you or a loved one used talcum powder and were diagnosed or died from ovarian cancer, you must call now.
Call 800-570-7599. 800-570-7599.
At Humana, we believe great things are ahead of you when you start with healthy. And part of staying healthy means choosing the right Medicare plan. Humana can help. With Original Medicare, you're covered for hospital stays and doctor office visits when you're sick, but keep in mind you'll have to pay a deductible for each. A Medicare supplement plan can cover your deductibles and coinsurance, but you may pay higher premiums than you do with other plans, and prescription drug coverage isn't included. But With an all-in-one Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you could get all that coverage plus Part D prescription drug benefits, all for an affordable monthly plan premium, and in some areas, no plan premium. It's all described in this free book and DVD. Call for yours and discover how an all-in-one Medicare Advantage plan from Humana could save you money. Call 1-855-395-9803. That's 1-855-395-9803 now.
Download the all-new ABC7 First Alert Weather app now.
There are many choices when it comes to AC companies. Our advice? Choose a company that performs employee background checks and is licensed with top manufacturers like Daikin. Daikin offers a 12-year parts and labor limited warranty. For better comfort and value, call Elite Heating and Air.
Coming up on Good Morning Suncoast, a security lockdown for half a dozen schools in Sarasota County. We'll tell you what led to it and who is behind bars this morning.
Plus, a customer asked a clerk to see a tray of jewelry, and then he ran out of the mall with the jewelry. We'll tell you where it all happened.
And men in kilts. What more do you need on a Friday morning? We will preview a fun weekend of great events across the Suncoast. Those stories and more coming up right now on Good Morning Suncoast.
Live from the ABC7 studios, this is Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
All right.
Welcome back. It is a Friday morning. I'm Stephanie Roberts.
I'm Ray Collins, and I'm being asked to wear a kilt tomorrow morning.
You do have shorts on this morning. His legs are out, people. You got to know that.
They're on display as usual in the morning, but they want me to wear a kilt. It might be windy, so I'm thinking an evening gown might be better.
Oh, you'll be fine. The Scots and the Vikings were in our studio for Suncoast View yesterday. A lot of fun, and that is a great Sarasota Celtic Music Festival event that's scheduled for this weekend, Steve. So we need good weather. There's a lot going on as we get into festival season.
It's going to be a little breezy today and tomorrow. That's the only problem. So that the kilt may cause some problems, you know.
Thanks.
Make sure you're covered beneath it, okay?
Nobody wants to see that. Saying.
You know what happens as we move into the latter part of October? It takes forever in the morning for the sun to come up. It looks like sunrise 7:33. We're an hour away from sunrise, but we're only 2 weeks away from daylight saving time ending and going back to standard time, meaning the sun will be up before 7 o'clock. I think we're all like that. Sunset tonight at 6:56, but in about 2 weeks' time, it'll be setting about 5:45. Take a look at Titan radar. There's some showers off the Atlantic coast, but it looks like those showers are not going to make it across the state. It will be dry all day today and all day tomorrow with northeast winds increasing, but remaining relatively dry until the moisture increases tomorrow afternoon. Taking a look at our temperatures for the next several hours, warming up in the low and mid 80s by this afternoon. Our complete weather outlook, and that includes a tropical look coming up in a few minutes.
All right, Steve, nice having you here. Let's check the First Alert traffic now. Lakewood Ranch, a problem there between Technology Terrace, so be aware of Lakewood Ranch Boulevard, an ongoing issue the past hour or so in that otherwise relatively quiet area. Let's check farther south now into Sarasota County. One little blip there at the 41301 fork in the road. Be aware of that. Farther south, all clear at 6:33 on your Friday morning.
Topping our news this half hour, we are learning new details regarding the lockdown of 6 Suncoast schools yesterday.
It began with reports of a student with a gun on a school bus at Riverview High School. So the district placed Riverview and 5 surrounding schools on lockdown. After a county-wide manhunt, they arrested a student in question. Here he is, 17-year-old Anthony Duncan, charged with possessing a firearm on school property and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. He was found in Sarasota at the bus station on Lemon Avenue. Schools are now off lockdown when the students return to class later on this morning. We're learning more now about the death of that 82-year-old woman in Bradenton.
The woman's neighbor is still behind bars facing murder charges this morning. Rick Adams has the latest on the investigation.
Authorities are still searching for answers in the death of 82-year-old Zelma Huddleston in her Bradenton home. Her daughter discovered her mom's bloodied body Tuesday morning. Her neighbor, 55-year-old Misty Whiteley, has been charged with second-degree murder in her death.
I didn't believe that it was as close to where I lived.
Anthony Gallo lives right around the corner from where this murder took place. He says this hasn't changed his perspective on the neighborhood he calls home.
Even though the tragedy happened, I don't feel any different about my neighborhood. Everybody knows everybody. I didn't know the people as well as other neighbors.
Authorities say a keychain with the name Misty on it was found in a pool of blood near Huddleston's body. A knife was also found just feet away. The medical examiner says Huddleston suffered cuts and blunt force trauma to her head, which caused her death. It happened in what neighbors are calling a very quiet neighborhood down the road from the Manatee River. Sam Armstrong visits the area frequently. He couldn't believe the news when we told him what happened.
It's pretty shocking. It's really shocking for it's a nice neighborhood.
Misty Whiteley remains behind bars in the Manatee County Jail, where a judge has set her bail at more than $750,000. Reporting from Bradenton, I'm Rick Adams, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
A search is on in Manatee County for a man who robbed a jewelry store in the DeSoto Square Mall. He came into a store called Intrigue and began looking at jewelry. The salesperson pulled out different pieces of jewelry before he grabbed the entire tray and ran out the door. He's described as a medium-build African-American male with a beard, last seen wearing a black shirt and khaki shorts. If you can help, call the Manatee County Sheriff's Office.
A bicycle stolen from a visually impaired para-athlete has been found. It was stolen October 10th and was located by someone in Sarasota Wednesday afternoon. The man called the Sarasota Police Department after recognizing the picture of the bike from our ABC 7 Facebook page. Sarasota police officers are now working to contact the victim. He is actually back home in Chile, and they will make arrangements to return the bicycle to him.
Glad they found that. Here's your chance to dispose of unwanted prescription drugs. Sarasota Police and the DEA are asking you to drop off old medications. One place is the lobby of police headquarters near Payne Park, or any of the addresses shown here on your screen. The DEA can't accept liquids or needles, only pills or patches. Drop-offs are safer than flushing them or throwing them in the trash, which both can pose potential safety and health hazards.
A state senator from the Suncoast wants to add human trafficking to lesson plans in Florida schools. Senator Greg Stubbe wants to make sure middle and high school students are learning about the dangers and signs of human trafficking as part of school curriculum. Stubbe's bill unanimously passed the Children, Families, and Elder Affairs Committee. It has 2 more stops before it can go before the full Senate. Stubbe says the bill stemmed from a Riverview High School graduate who came to him with the idea, and he thought it was a great bill to get on board with.
Most people don't see this part of what's going on in our community, but it's happening everywhere. And when you look at the statistics, it's pretty staggering of what's going on here in Sarasota and all across the state, especially in Florida. Florida is one of the leading states where this type of activity is going on. So if we can prevent these atrocities from happening and prevent especially high school age children from being involved in these type of organizations and getting pulled into these type of organizations through education, I think is very, very important.
The bill is expected to be discussed in the 2018 legislative session. And you can stay up to date on all the latest breaking news with our new ABC 7 app. Now, if you're an iPhone or iPad user and you currently have our news app, we need you to go to the App Store now and do an update. So for WWSB or My Suncoast, you'll want to search for it and download a new version. It does not update automatically. However, on the Android, you will get the new version automatically.
6:38 right now. Plans are floating ahead for a new water taxi connecting Sarasota to Anna Maria Island. This will be the first of its kind in our area when it launches early next year. A 149 passenger vessel will go from the 10th Street boat ramp to the historic Bridge Street Pier with a stop at the Bradenton Riverwalk. The ferry will cater to customers, locals, and tourists.
Happening tomorrow in Sarasota, there will be a walkathon for breast cancer awareness at Brookdale Assisted Living. For just $5, you get a t-shirt and lunch, and all proceeds go to breast cancer research. The event starts at 9 a.m. on Brookdale Central on Bee Ridge Road. And the Braveheart 5K Kilt Run is set to happen alongside the Sarasota Celtic Music Festival tomorrow. And I hope they're wearing spandex under those things. The event will take place throughout the weekend at Nathan Benderson Park. If you haven't signed up for the 5K, you can still do that up until the 9:30 a.m. start time. And if you're not up for a 5K, there's lots of other things going on throughout the day. Music, vendors, food, all with a Celtic twist, and kilts everywhere.
Yes, we'll see. Come out at 10:30. I'll be the MC of the award ceremony. Yep. And you know who asked me to be in this was Steve Christie, leading scorer in Buffalo Bills history.
Oh, how fun for you.
He lives in Lakewood Ranch, and he's a friend of mine, so that'll be fun to see him tomorrow and work with him on the stage.
Great. And the Bills playing the Bucks, I believe, this weekend. So
boy,
remember your home.
I will pull for the Bucks, actually.
Okay.
And remember the tidy whities tomorrow, because the wind should be lifting the skirts all over that kilt competition.
I want to borrow your Spanx.
Spanx all solve problems. Just saying.
All right, we've got some breezes and some cooler weather in the distant future. We'll talk about that as well as our weekend outlook.
All right, plus we're going to check first alert traffic. And October is Down Syndrome Awareness Month.
We'll tell you how one mother is hoping a new series of books will keep people thinking year-round when we come back.
The Alfa Romeo Stelvio takes the modern compact luxury crossover and injects it with personality.
Every crossover should be this good to drive.
Rediscover your passion for driving at Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
For your plumbing, electrical, or air conditioning, and services is qualified, and service calls are free. And services.com, A-N-D, services.com.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
For the last decade, S&S Motorsports of Sarasota has built custom high-performance vehicles for demanding clients worldwide. They're now bringing their 50-plus years of combined build expertise to the parts business. SRQ Performance Parts is your one-stop shop for all your performance parts and accessories.
It's no small wonder anybody loves it all.
I just love art that moves me.
No small,
I mean, really moves me.
one.
Sunset Fiat of Sarasota presents No Small Wonder, high performance style. Let the art of Fiat move you.
Attention, Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you getting all the benefits you're entitled to? Did you know there may be money available to lower your medical prescription costs? Call Health Markets and we'll tell you if you qualify.
Hi, I'm Dr. Martin Jeetsi. It's a new Medicare year. That means more changes and more confusion. The key question is, what can you do now to ensure you get the care you need in the coming year?
Call Health Markets today. You may qualify to save money on prescriptions. We'll help you find plans that may cost less, cover more, and could even lower your prescription costs to increase your savings. We help you find all the benefits you're entitled to, and we do it at no cost.
Make sure you have what you need to get the care that's right for you.
Find out if you qualify to receive extra help with your prescriptions. Call the number on the screen now. Representatives are standing by.
For your plumbing, electrical, or air conditioning, and services is qualified, and service calls are free. And services.com, A-N-D, services.com.
I went in skeptical and came away impressed.
Stelvio can spring from a standstill to 60 miles per hour in 5.4 seconds, a segment best.
Rediscover your passion for driving at Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
Upon us, it'll be mostly dry for the first half, even though we do see some showers approaching the Atlantic coast of Florida. They will not make it over the southeastern United States that will channel the northeast wind over.
All right, we're having some problems with Steve's mic here. We'll see if we can get that solved for you. In this hour's Health Smart, October is Down Syndrome Awareness Month. But one Mississippi author wants to spread awareness about the disorder year-round. As Christina Garcia tells us, she's doing it all through a series of books.
5-year-old Ashton Berkheimer is the inspiration for a new series of books titled My Little Sunshine Face, geared towards children with Down syndrome and their parents. Ashton's mom, Brandy Berkheimer, says from the moment he was born, he had an infectious smile.
When he smiled, his whole face was just like lit up, like
contagious smile, like it's something we've never seen before.
Berkheimer says since her teenage years, she felt called to help a group of people. After having Ashton, she knew she wanted to reach out and inspire others with Down syndrome and their loved ones because she knew their struggles and their triumphs.
You don't hear congratulations on your new baby. You know, you have people come to you and they say, I'm sorry, or it'll be okay, or, you know, something like that. But your baby is your baby, and you just want to hear congratulations.
She says it was hard finding books geared towards someone like her son and other parents like her.
I wanted a book that could celebrate who he was, and that included having that extra 21st chromosome and having Down syndrome.
Berkheimer's new series includes a poem and tips on cognitive, physical, and psychological development, plus therapy techniques parents can do with their children.
They're going to learn a lot from their child, and that they're wonderfully made. You know, that's why I named it Wonderfully Made, Wonderfully Me, because we're all unique. We all have a purpose and a plan.
Through these books, she's also wanting to tear away misconceptions.
People with Down syndrome are able to live independent lives and, you know, contribute to society now, whereas before they couldn't. And I think people just don't realize that yet. But that's why awareness is so, you know, important. And that's part of what I want to do with the books.
Entertainment news now. Film director Quentin Tarantino is apologizing for staying silent about Harvey Weinstein's alleged sex abuse. Tarantino's a frequent Weinstein collaborator. He said in a New York Times interview that he, quote, knew enough to do more than he did. More than 40 women have come forward with accusations of rape, sexual harassment, or assault in the past 2 weeks. Weinstein says any sexual contact was consensual. The smash hit Get Out is back for award season. The thriller received a leading 4 nominations for the Gotham Awards, which honors the best in independent film. A quartet of movies drew 3 nods apiece. Lady Bird, written and directed by actress Greta Gerwig. The coming-of-age romantic drama Call Me By Your Name. The romantic comedy Columbus, and The Florida Project. The Gotham Awards will be passed out the 27th of next month in New York City. And Selena Quintanilla, can you help me with that at all? Quintanilla is getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The announcement comes more than 20 years after her former employee shot her to death back in 1995. Selena, the Mexican-American singer, found success with Spanish and English language songs. She was just 23 years old when she died. Her star will be unveiled on November the 3rd. Selena getting her due. Let's get that weekend forecast now. Here's Steve Newman.
The weekend is upon us, and at least the first half is going to be picture perfect. A little breezy because of strong northeasterly winds. Right now you see some showers off the Atlantic coast, but high pressure is pretty much in control, and the air is so dry as a result of that high that we're not going to see showers today or tomorrow, but we will see strong northeasterly winds blowing around that high that will pretty much increase later on today through tomorrow. That is the only fly in the ointment. Right now the temperature 72 at the airport, dew point fairly comfortable 70 degrees. And look at forecast across Florida today, warming up into the mid and upper 80s by this afternoon. And for tomorrow night, about this time tomorrow morning, we'll see temperatures pretty much the same, around the low 70s across the state, and high temperatures on Saturday. Again, a picture perfect day, warming up into the low to mid 80s across all of Florida and the Suncoast. Now, it is cooler this morning down in Atlanta and Raleigh than it is up in New York City and Boston, even Chicago, because of that high pressure we just saw that settled in. And high pressure is in control across the whole country, except for out here. This front will eventually bring us our cool weather by next Tuesday and Wednesday, but it's bringing much needed rain, mountain snow, higher humidities to the fire area in Northern California and the wine country. This is really a blessing for them. It could be a big game changer right on through the weekend. You can see the mountain snow up around Lake Tahoe and Reno. The showers have ended over the wine country, but more offshore that could give additional dampening to those fire areas later on today. Here's our weather headlines for this weekend ahead. It's going to become breezy today and tomorrow as well, gusting up to 20, maybe 25 on the open water. But it's going to be remaining dry through Saturday, but a cold front will approach on Tuesday, bringing us temperatures, believe it or not, in the upper 50s by this time next week. There's that high pressure channeling in the strong northeasterly winds over Florida. Scattered showers on the Atlantic coast, not making it to us today or tomorrow. Things will moisten up a little bit as that front approaches from the east or from the west, and that will bring our rain chances up to about 40%. Beach and boating today, winds increasing from the northeast up to 20, 25 knots, I think, by tonight and tomorrow. Seas 2 to 3 feet. Beach temperature 86 degrees, but it is going to be a little breezy out there with a UV index of 6. Here's my 7-day outlook showing the chance of rain nil right on through tomorrow, up to 40% on Sunday, Monday 50%. The front comes through Tuesday, and look what happens to our temperatures, dropping from the 70s to the 60s to the upper 50s by the latter half of next week, thanks to the first real honest-to-goodness cold front we're going to get here on the Suncoast.
Wow. Get your hats and mittens ready.
We'll take whatever cool down we can get.
Update the day's top headlines next. And what did you want to be when you were 4 years old? A doctor, a president, an astronaut, or a garbage man?
We'll tell you how two young brothers got to spend the day doing their dream job after this.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
Celebrate the end of summer with big savings during the Jeep Celebration event going on now at Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota. Shop the area's largest selection of new Jeep Wranglers or save big on a new sleek and stylish Jeep Cherokee for as little as $18,999. Drive off today for your next great adventure in a brand new Jeep Renegade for as low as $15,999. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota today.
What to do when your heating or air conditioning needs service or, heaven forbid, replacement? Call Air Now today. We've been serving Sarasota and Manatee County since 1946. We offer $49.95 tune-ups, lease or finance options, and remember, service today or it's free.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. Our promise means a new car you'll love. If not, return it for one you do. At Sarasota Ford, we promise live market pricing. We monitor national pricing on our entire inventory, so you get the best deal. In fact, we guarantee it. Bring us any competitor's ad, and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential. There's no cost and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC Filter Hotline if you or a loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Yeah, I have questions.
Prescription drugs aren't as bad as street drugs, right?
Weed's legal, isn't it?
Drinking is worse than smoking weed.
Isn't it? Why
is heroin so addictive?
Molly just makes you feel happy. I have questions.
Mom?
Dad, did you ever try drugs?
They're going to ask. Be ready. Go to drugfree.org. A message from Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
ABC7 is the most watched, most trusted news source on the Suncoast, and we owe it all to you, our loyal viewers. Thank you for making us #1.
A little hint of the sunrise there. In a couple of weekends, we'll see a little more of it, won't we?
That's right, when we fall back those clocks. But you have 2 more weeks, so that means morning's a little extra dark. Be careful on the roads. The kids are out at the bus stops walking to school, and it is hard to see at this early hour. It is 6:54. Here are some of the top stories we are following for you on the Suncoast today.
6 Sarasota schools are off lockdown this morning after a student allegedly brought a gun to Riverview High School. Deputies later arrested the student at the downtown bus station.
Manatee County Sheriff's deputies are looking for the man who stole a tray of jewelry from a store at the DeSoto Square Mall. He has not been seen since he took the jewels and ran out of that mall.
And water taxi service between Anna Maria Island and Sarasota will begin early next year. Stops will also include the Bradenton Riverwalk.
Taking a look at first alert traffic, things going pretty well across Manatee County. Few slow spots here and there on 301 and 41. Starting to see some volume on the bridges, but no big problems. I-75 accident and delay free. Looks good in Sarasota. A little volume eastbound on Bee Ridge, and also some heavy southbound traffic coming out of downtown in Sarasota. But we are accident and delay free all the way into South County. Steve?
We've got a chance of showers coming in on Sunday and a real cold front in the middle of next week, but the next 2 days, picture perfect.
Thank you, Steve. In North Dakota, a 4-year-old Connor and his 2-year-old brother Cade want to be garbage men someday. Well, they got their chance to live out their dreams at the West Fargo Sanitation earlier this week, complete with all the button pushing, trash talking, I love that one, and horn honking they could fit in. And the hats and the vests that Connor and Cade were wearing are more than just a fun outfit. Those will actually double as their Halloween costumes this year.
That is awesome. I just hope it doesn't get so automated that they don't get to do their dream job by the time they're grown up.
Self-driving garbage trucks. That's the next thing.
Not as much fun as it used to be. Remember, everybody used to pick them up by hand and you'd watch them chuck it into the back. They'd be those muscle men.
It wasn't fun for them, I'm sure.
Probably not. But
if you're near your computer at 8 o'clock, we're going to do our Facebook Friday Live. It's a lot of fun. Your first time doing it. ABC7 website on Facebook, Facebook Friday Live. Have a great weekend, folks.
Good Morning America's coming up next.
The Alfa Romeo Stelvio takes the modern compact luxury crossover and injects it with personality.
Every crossover should be this good to drive.
Rediscover your passion for driving at Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
Hi, I'm Chef Bob. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday morning on ABC7, where we'll be serving up the most awesome dishes. Then stop by your neighborhood Publix, pick up the recipe card and all the ingredients.
Did you know that Sarasota County was the first in Florida to be recognized as an age-friendly community? Whether you're 22 or 82, we strive to be the best place to live, work, and play. A community rich with opportunities and things to do for people of all ages. On Saturday, October 28th, we're advancing this movement with a free community event featuring live entertainment and hands-on experiences. You won't want to miss our entire community coming together for an age-friendly festival presented by the Patterson Foundation.